Good morning, all. Welcome. For those who have just joined us, I am Kijana from Invest in Africa. I'd like to quickly begin by introducing Invest in Africa, speaking a bit about this program that we are currently doing, and then I will invite our speaker for the day. So we are a private sector partnership initiative. Really, we are aiming to improve trade between large organizations and SMEs by making sure that we can support SMEs to access markets, access the skills they need to be able to meet the quality that the large organizations are seeking, and finally to access finance to make sure that you're able to deliver to the contracts that you're able to win through Biashara.now. So in terms of access to market, access to skills, and access to finance, our three pillars, we have partnered with several different organizations who share the same heart of working closely with SMEs as they undertake their business. And so far, we have been able to register at least 4,000 SMEs in our Biashara.now market linkage platform. We have therefore supported over 88,000 jobs with a larger vision of supporting many more jobs by 2020. And we have enabled contracts worth 154 million through the Biashara.now platform. In terms of access to skills, up to date, we have trained at least 1,000 SMEs, built their capacity, and unlocked finance of more than $5.8 million. That's about 580 million. And our vision really in doing all this is to prosper African economies. We want economies which are thriving. And as you know today, Africa and specifically Kenya, the economy is driven by the small and medium enterprises. That is why it is so key for us in unlocking the economy to be able to support SMEs. And that's why we are delighted to join us today. The Biashara.now platform, and at the same time invite all of you who may not be members of the Biashara.now platform to actually join and receive the support that we have talked about in our slide. So we have three specific areas where we are able to support SMEs on the Biashara.now platform, and the first one we call it tender space. It's basically where you go to get all the marketing pages you're looking for. You need business, you need to know to get a direct link to larger organizations. Through our tender space, we're able to post any opportunities that come our way for our members. So you can register by going to www.biasharanow.com, or you can talk to us in the chat box and we'll immediately be able to connect you to register, and therefore you'll be able to be validated as a credible business for all our other larger partners that I projected earlier. We have our Biashara Academy, and as the word academy suggests, it's all about uplifting our skills, empowering us, and gaining further knowledge and tools that continue to help us to build sustainable businesses in this economy. So through Biashara Academy, you'll be able to connect to our network of experts. We have mentors, we have coaches to support you in any business area, and especially during this time that the pandemic has really changed the outlook of business for all of us in any sector that you can think about. Then we have Biashara Network. This is a private social community. At the risk of using someone's brand, it's really like a private Facebook for our members, where we get to share what's going on in our businesses, at the same time invite one another to really collaborate with us, buy from us, and you can connect and upload the profile link directly to our SME community, which, as I mentioned earlier, is of 4,000 plus. But during this COVID season, we have come up with a specialized program that is really helping us to cruise the unprecedented times that we are seeing, what we really call the VUCA times. And we are offering a number of things under the SME Survival Program, as we are calling it. And for example, this webinar is part of a series on different business areas that at this time are crucial for us. We have practical business guides. This is a toolkit that is available on our Biashara Academy, which I have showcased earlier. We have weekly business clinics and business chats. Actually, next week on Tuesday, we will be sharing with you an invite for the first for one of the business chats we have on engaging people at this time. Really, for companies with employees, 10 plus employees, this is a master 10 event. Then we have a COVID-19 supplier search and spotlight, where we are registering and inviting all of you who have products and supplies that respond to the needs of companies at this time of COVID to register, because we are supporting larger organizations to be able to find SMEs at this time who can help them with all their supplier needs, medical supplies, equipment, think about it, logistics. And finally, we provide research and data on how SMEs are affected, what kind of support you need at this time, really to engage our stakeholders. So today, our webinar is on Profit First. Why Profit First? This webinar is aimed at building business resilience. As we all know right now with the pandemic, the economic downturn has resulted to volumes of sales going down. So we are not seeing the same amount of sales that we have been seeing before in any sector in the economy right now. So the objective of this seminar is, with the sales that you're getting at the moment, you should be able to understand how do you support your business survival during this time by putting profit first. To understand also how to develop a system for building your business in a way that is sustainable for long-term success. So what happens is that if you take care of how you're building the business today and ensuring that every sale does count in terms of going towards your business survival and sustainability, then without a doubt, you will see long-term success. So maybe before we could get away with, having sales that you don't make a profit here and there, but today every sale to you must make sense for your business to make sure that you survive. We want to cross these difficult times and get to the other end as resilient businesses. And we are delighted today that we partnered with Frida Owinga and Passion Profit and I'd like to just introduce Frida, if you can move to that side. She's an impact coach. So Frida is the person to work with when you're looking for impact for your business. She's also the founder of Passion Profit, which is a learning and development firm. She's passionate about supporting peak performing individuals. So basically, if you're the business that is looking to be a star business and to come out strong at the other side, then Frida is exactly the kind of person to work with. She has over 25 years of experience in organizational leadership and management. She works with both individuals as well as organizations. She also serves on the board of Organization of Women in International Trade. We also call it OWIT, and she's the chairperson of SME Founders Association. So she wants to make an impact also in this world. She wants to be remembered for supporting millions of people to produce purposeful results. And we are delighted today to welcome Frida, who is a mother of 3 boys, and she's also a grandma. She loves God and people dearly. Welcome, Frida. We look forward to hearing from you today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you so much for having me, Terry, and it's always a pleasure to be with the Biashara Now people. Thank you so much. And this morning, as Terry has shared with you, we're going to be looking at Profit First. And this is a methodology. I didn't create it. I'm a Profit First professional. And Profit First is a community of people in the US that believe that entrepreneurial poverty must be chased away. So it's a methodology that was created by a guy called Mike Michalowicz. I can barely pronounce Mike's last name. And what Mike did, he's written the method, and what he did after being in business, small business for over 30 years and selling 2 companies, he realized that entrepreneurs were living from paycheck to paycheck. Paycheck to paycheck is employees, but entrepreneurs were living from one payment, the check from one client to another, were not having money in between. And that's how he came up with this methodology. The methodology is by Mike Michalowicz, and I'm a Profit First professional. I'm also a certified advisor for Fix This Next. And in Fix This Next, it's a methodology to help you know where your business is at and what you need to do. So that's why I call myself an impact coach. I'm all about the results that you get. So being very intentional about that. And to start us off, I like this quote because I make up quotes, and I make up quotes based on what is going on in life. And I realize that sometimes what is in the way often becomes the way. The reason I've gone out of my way to study these methodologies is because after being in business until 2000, I've worked with small businesses all my life. I've never worked in corporate. So I've always been in environments where people raised funds, people took risks. You know, in corporate, they wait for funding, they wait for, they send an email somewhere to head office to get money. And that is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm passionate about entrepreneurs because you take risks and you figure it out and you get the money and you support your families. So I call that impact. I find that transformation, and I find that a greater cause. And that is why I work with SMEs. I can train corporates and get paid checks, but people always tell me, why do you work with SMEs and SMEs don't pay? Because I live to see transformation. That's why I live. And as the transformation is happening, I get paid somehow. So what stands in the way often becomes the way. So I hate numbers, and I hate, the way all these income statements, balance sheet, I don't know what. Every time I sit with my accountant, I never felt the connection, because I always felt these are numbers in a paper and then there's the money in the bank. And the way it was being done for me was so a cake. So when I found Profit First, I was like, yay, finally something that is practical, that can make me see the numbers on the paper and the numbers in my bank. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. That is what using Profit First is all about. So today I'm going to share with you why Profit First, which I've already told you, because I was fed up. And with all respect to the CPAs, we still have a CPA accountant, but I do this to help an entrepreneur be in touch with their money. We call this profit literacy. So number 2, business hierarchy of needs, so that you can understand what needs does your business have before you get into the profit. And then I'm going to look at getting started, the 5 accounts, and example of how to make it work. And then we're going to do a recap, and you can ask questions. And if you stay till the end, I have a special offer for you. So on the screen, what is your greatest concern? I'm going to launch a poll just to hear back from you. What is your greatest concern currently concerning what I have on the screen? Is your greatest concern sales? Are you having, cash flow constraints? Is your greatest concern stability? You're not having profit because you need to have cash and to have some reservoir. Is your greatest concern order? Your processes, you don't have processes and people to make sure the work is going on even when you're not there. I'm happy to say that I'm no longer the CEO of Passion Profit. We have a CEO now. I'm just the founder, and I'm also the director of partnership. And do you have transformation? Are people talking about you based on the things that you have done for them, not just having many likes on social media? And are you creating permanence? What will happen if something happened to you, God forbid? So this morning, 52 people are saying that their greatest concern is sales. And that was me for a long time. My greatest concern was sales, because I was selling one thing, helping people turn their passion into profit, which was an 8-week program. But things have changed. Then 32% say that it is profit. So the highest majority in the room today is saying sales. And I agree with you, and I'm going to I'll stop sharing. I agree with you that sales is normally the number 1 concern of most business owners, because no sales means no cash, and no cash means the business is soon going to die. So it's very important that we ensure that we have systems in place to generate cash, but not just to generate cash, to go into profit. So this morning we're going to look at the Profit First methodology, and this methodology is built on the simple idea: before you pay your expenses, take your profit first. Run your business based on what you can afford now, not what you hope you can afford someday, which most of us do. We start, we believe that, we are going to get that tender. We believe that person that we have talked to is going to pay us. So I want to let you know today, as a coach, there are many people I shake hands with and say they're going to take up the program, but they don't. So you too also must have people that you talk to on the phone and you think they're going to take up the program, and you start, or your products or your services, and then you start counting that money. I want you to change that today. That is called a handshake, all right? A handshake is not a sale. A sale is money in the bank. A credit is not a sale. You know how people, those women used to come to offices and give you a nice dress and tell you, just take it, you'll pay me later, all right? If you do that to clients, that is not a sale. A sale is money in the bank. What is a sale? If you heard me, can I see you write it in the chat box? A sale is money in the bank. A handshake is a promise, all right? So many times we run our business on promises. This company said they were going to order. I did a proposal, they said they were going to order. I did this and the other, the donor said they were going to give me money. Money that is not in the bank is not money to be spent. And that is all I'm going to say about that. If you apply the profit first to a new business, you can make profits from day one, because it's all about how you price your products and services. It's about your value proposition. It's about your business model canvas. A study was done by Netherlands. I got this study when I was schooling in Babson College. I did a program at Babson College called Launch and Grow. And it saddened me, but it gladdened me that I had to go so far away to discover about our business community. It said that in Kenya, we start businesses to put food on the table, which is okay. You start selling handbags or start selling shoes and you make some money and you can put food on the table, or you can do something extra, go on a holiday and do something else. And that's wonderful, but that is not a business. That is trading, all right? So if you want a business, you need to be able to do that consistently, to do it with others, and that entity should run when you're not there, okay? So that was my first realization why businesses are struggling in Kenya. We do not start a business to solve an existing problem, an existing community problem. We start a business to increase money in our pockets. Whereas that is not bad, but that is not sustainable. Neither can that create permanence, all right? So if you have been running a business and can't even pay yourself a salary, then it's time to transform your business. You need to adopt the profit first methodology. Mike says that sales minus expenses equals profit. We have been taught for a long time in accounting and in financial literacy that no, that's not what Mike says. We have been taught that sales minus expenses equals profit. But that means that you're spending your money last. And in all financial literacy programs, we have been taught that pay yourself first. But as business owners, we are normally not paying ourselves at the end because of the accounting system that shows us our profit in a very historical way. Today, you're going to learn a different thing. So let's get started here. So we are going to get started with Marslow hierarchy of needs. So when you talk about having clients at the bottom of the pyramid, you just want to make sure that you are meeting their physiological needs. And if you have clients who are on the second layer, they need safety. They want personal security. They want employment. These are the people who are always looking for jobs, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Life is not about right or wrong. It's about what it is. Life is just what it is, and then you make out something of what it is by your choices, by choices of literacy and choices of application. So when we come to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we see from the bottom to the top, there are different needs that a human being has. So also a business has different needs. And just like a human being, number one need is air, food, water, and shelter, the business number one need is sales. According to the Profit First methodology and the Fix This Next advisory program, the business hierarchy of needs presupposes that number one, the most important needs, just like a human being cannot survive without air and water, a business cannot thrive without sales. And number two, a business cannot be stable without the creation of profit. Number three, once you're making sales and you're making profit, there needs to be order. There needs to be processes. The processes come in before the people come. People are creative. If you create processes, if you don't create processes before they come, they're going to do their own processes. So you need to have the processes before they come. Many times people tell me, Frida, when should I put processes? I say from day one. People ask me, oh, now my business is growing, I need to put processes. I say, you're late, but CAM will help you, because change management is very hard. But if you start with the processes right from day one, then people come in knowing this is the way they should go. It is easier to get them going than trying to change them when they've come and created their own thing. So number one, sales, and then profit, and then create order. We have what we call the clockwork, helping your business to work like clockwork in this methodology, and that is what we teach in our program. And then the third thing is to ensure that there is impact. You're creating community transformation is happening, and you're measuring this. For instance, every year we do a program for small business owners. Last year we trained 50 people, and that sounds like a small number, but we are tracking those 50 in November. Just in November, it was a pilot program. After the 50, they went for a 90-day coaching. Out of that, 18 of them celebrated, the milestone for finishing their business plans and getting into the sales arena. And then now we are doing another one. So you must have a system for measuring what you're doing and getting back organic feedback of how people are responding to your product. Today, we are going to focus on the profit part of it. We are jumping sales because I'm talking about profit. Now I'm going to ask you another question, all right? So I'm gonna ask you my second question here. And the second question is on the screen. I'm launching it now. Do you see the poll? We have had, if there are accountants in the room, they'll know the answer to this. I have two options on the screen. Number one, sales minus expenses equals profit. Option 2, sales minus profit equals expenses. Which one do you say it is? And the results show it. The results are saying option 1 is correct. Sales minus expenses equals profit. Option 2 says sales minus profit equals expenses. Option 2s have it. For the profit first methodology, sales minus profit equals expenses, because you are paying yourself first and using what is left to do what you need to do. All right, so you're living within your means, and I'll show you how to do that. That's why we say make a profit for every sale. So every time you price, we ensure that you're making a profit. So stay close with me and I will show you how that happens. So in the business hierarchy of needs, sales and profit are the foundation basis of you making a stable, thriving business. So let's look at the profit first methodology. It's as simple as setting up 5 physical accounts. So in profit first, we help people figure out, we do an audit of your accounts, and then we figure out how much your cash flows are before we set these 5 foundational accounts. And in the 5 foundational accounts, one of them is income. Here they are: income, profit, owner's pay, tax, and operating expenses. So and I'm going to show you a real example of somebody who gets paid and how to spread this money around. So do not try this before doing an audit, an audit of your finances, okay? So go for checking accounts with checkbooks. Account as the convenience will outweigh any interest you can get from savings account when you set up these 5 physical accounts. You can rename your existing account to operational expenses, and many banks now are able to give you what we call a twin account. I like ABSA. I also use KCB and of course SBM Bank. And I know we are all multi-banked for different reasons, but ABSA, and I'm going to get into trouble for this, but ABSA has the best banking for SMEs, if you ask me, and that's just me, all right? So you can rename your existing company. So we have an account where all the money is paid into the one passion profit account, but we have twin accounts where X% goes for income, X% goes for profit, for owner's pay, for tax. You know how the money comes and you forget to remove the 16%, and then on the 20th you have to pay it and it's not there. So this also gives you a discipline to save money as you go. We always hear Kenyans, we don't have a savings culture. Please tell them minus me, all right? Don't go with the flow. Learn to make choices. Listen to the axioms, but make a choice of who you want to be. So today I'm showing you how you can start a savings culture with your income. You don't have to wait till you're a millionaire. Every money that is coming in, you need to have a portion for profit, a portion for honest pay, a portion for taxes, a portion for operational expenses. So you can buy that car, you can buy that computer, you can go on that holiday one day with your honest pay, all right? So direct all your revenue deposits into the new income account. You can call it income account or your revenue account. And then if you wish, you may want to set up the 2 non-temptation accounts with a separate bank. Put them far away so that you're not going. You know how banks are always telling us, it's online banking, pesa mufukoni, I don't know what, so the money is close by. Ideally, once we do the audit and agree what percentage is for profit, tax we know is 16%. So every time you're paid, the percentage for profit goes into the profit account, for the tax goes into the tax account, so it is there safe. And you know, this is money that you can use as collateral because it's growing there, and you'll use it when you need it. So go for savings account. It will also show the banks that you have recurring revenue and they will trust you. Many times the banks don't trust us because we don't put our money in the bank. But this is a nice system to teach you how to save, to help you cultivate a relationship with the bank. So go for savings accounts for these 2 no temptation accounts, which is the profit and the tax. And since the money won't be moved regularly, you can earn interest on it. Link these accounts to your profit and tax account so you can transfer money. Disable the convenience options. For these 2 no temptation accounts, don't take pesa mufukoni, I don't know, online banking, internet, what. Don't take those. All right, it can be a savings account or it can be a checking account where you only write the check to pay for the profit or to pay for VAT. All right, and that is just a safety measure. So for selecting your bank for the 5 accounts, for your 5 foundational accounts, choose a bank that provides easy access to view your accounts and transfer money between their 5 accounts. Now most banks have that, especially during COVID. They've all gone into internet banking, which I think is absolutely phenomenal because we don't need to go to the banking hall. For your no temptation bank, you may consider choosing one that will make it hard for you to withdraw the money so that it's not close to you. Normally as SMEs, what do? We check the balance, we see a big account, we start writing checks without paying attention to, is this money all ours? Is there a supplier we need to pay? What about my salary? We don't normally think about these things, but this methodology teaches you to think about these things. So you can consider this as the 5 envelopes. When we were growing up, I used to see my mom with envelopes, and she was a business owner. And every time she got money, she would put different amounts in the different envelopes and hide it under her mattress. Yeah, we would go and check, what are those envelopes about? And there'd be one for school fees, there'd be one for rent, So you must, I think it was an old system, but it worked for her. And Profit First methodology works the very same way. So these are your 5 banking accounts. So let's carry on and look at an actual example. And let's pretend this is Kijana Mobile. This is a case study, just a random case study. Assume Kijana Mobile earned $110 for the last year and made a loss in operation. You would need to know what formula to work with to allocate your profits first, then pay yourself, your taxes, and leave the balance as operating expenses. It sounds weird because that's not how the accountants are taught to do it today. It takes a mind shift. I have decided not just to learn things that I'm told, but to learn things that I'm told and see results. So at Passion Profit, we talk about literacy, to unlearn, relearn, and things that make sense and bring results to you. So it's great to have an MBA and it's great to have a PhD, but you know what is really great? Having results from those papers. So we teach you how to package your passion and proficiency and see tangible results. And that is what we have done with the accounting system, and the accounting system is the most important because you're starting a business to make money. All right. So let's carry on and see what happens to Kijana. So he's a trading company, has made 110 for the year. The company has existed at least a full financial year. Expenses and materials are 40,000. I'm going to show you a table, just track with me. The real revenue, not gross profit, is 110 minus 40. So he made 110, right? And then he spends 40. The owners pay, any funds owners took from the business is known, so it is 50,000, all right? So this is the money that you draw. Many of us draw money from account, and then I did that for a long time, okay? And especially when you can do it on your phone, all right? Then that and says, what were these expenses for? I don't remember. Oh, it was for this or the other. But with this system, you will have every sale that is made, a certain percentage will go into your account. So right there, you separate your finances and the company's finances, and then that percentage is yours to spend as you please. And if it is gone, it is gone, all right? Because we normally, when I ask people, how much do you make? They say, oh, we plowed it back into the business. And you look at the business, you don't see what was plowed back. And not in a bad way, just a reality of what we are doing. So we need to become very conscious of the numbers. We need to become very conscious about the money that we are handling for every sale. How much is going into the revenue account? How much for owner's pay? How much for operational expenses? 16% for VAT, now 14%. You want to make sure you have your 5 accounts. Okay? So let's define the allocation percentages on the profit first model for Kijana. Remember, he made 100,000, 40,000 he used on materials, and then he took 50,000. Kujipigia pole. He took 50,000 to reward himself as the owner. Can you imagine you made 110 and you're taking away 50,000? Why do you think our businesses are not making it? But in this 110, I'll show you how he could have divided it using the profit first methodology. All right. So let's go here. So the target allocation percentages are the healthy numbers that you should work towards. They are not written in stone. They are put together by Mike based on his experience working with thousands of business owners around the world. And we work with you to figure out what is your cash flow, because first we need to establish that you have sales that bring around the cash flow that you need to grow your business, a cash flow that is in line with your lifestyle congruence. Many of us don't know how much we need per month. How much we need per month to pay rent, do school fees, have fun. You must have some money for having fun, all right? And fun doesn't mean going to Mauritius every month. Fun could be just, eating out once with your family or friends. You must learn to appreciate yourself. Carrying on here, you can use these numbers to start implementing profit fast after a careful audit. Please do not try this before an audit. Then return to refine them later as you develop a rhythm. The reason you need an audit because you want to see what are the products you're selling. Are they generating enough cash? If they are not, you need to fine tune that so there's more cash coming in before you set these percentages, or it's going to hurt you. The tab is the allocation percentages. The tabs vary from industry to sector depending on the age of the company. Your goal is to move from the current allocation percentage. Like you see for Kijana, his current allocation percentage was he made 100,000, 40,000 was for expenses, 50,000 went into his pocket. You'll see the math just now. So let's pretend this is Kijana Mobile's account statement. And he made a sales of 110. And if you look at the top here, this is how we divide the profit first methodology template, income statement. So we have the description, actual last year what he made, and then we have the top allocation. This is profit first, and then this is calculated numbers from real cap. Real cap is what Kijana did, all right? And then at the end here, I'll show you what you need to adjust if you were doing a profit first system. So after Kijana makes 110, his direct expenses were 40,000. Remember that? And then so 110 minus 40 is 70,000. You don't have 110,000. You have 70 because you had spent 40 to make the 110. So that is the real revenue. So if you have your 5 accounts as profit first, the 70,000 will go into the revenue account. He does not have any profit here. So in the profit first methodology, before I go to the profit first methodology, let's look at here what he did. 0 to 35, if he had taken 5%, he needs to take 5% of the 70,000. 5% of 70,000 is 3,500. 40% of owner's 40% of 70,000 for his owner's pay, he should have taken 28,000. How much did he take? He took 50,000. So 28,000 minus 50,000, we can technically say that Kijana overpaid himself by 22,000 on that particular sale. For taxes, 16% taxes of the 110 of the 70,000, which is the real revenue, is 11,200. And then we come back here to operating expenses. Operating expenses, we reckon for every, there's a sliding scale for how much here, and it depends on your annual revenue in the last 2 or 3 years. Ideally, we look at the last 2 years. So based on Kijana's annual revenue, 100% is real revenue. For profit, he needs to take 5% of real revenue. For owner's pay, 40%. For taxes, 16%. And for operating expenses, 39%. So let's look at what he did. He had taken 50,000. He had taken 48,000 he had taken 40,000, for the direct expenses. He didn't have, operating expenses. So if you look at the profit first methodology, look at the percentages against 70,000, not against 100, because the real revenue is 70,000 after the direct expenses. Okay, so that if he were to do this, then you can see here, he needs to increase the profit, he needs to reduce the owner's pay, he needs to increase the taxes because he kept too little, and then when time for paying KRA comes, he was going to be short. And then if you look at the operating expenses, what he needs to set aside for operating expenses is, it should be this here, 39% of 70,000, okay? So calculated numbers from real cap, that is what he's doing using the regular accounting system, and this is what he should use as the profit first. So the first time we do it for you, we figure out what is your annual income the last 3 years. We look at your sales, we look at what you're doing to generate sales. Many small business owners say that when you ask them, how do you get new sales? They say referrals. And referrals are great, but referrals are not predictable. Neither are they, there's two things I normally say. Referrals are unpredictable, and they're not, because you don't know when the next one is going to come. But with the lead generation strategy, you can set out to generate leads and do something with those leads. For instance, we just had our open day, and when we had our open day, we generated 379 leads. A lead is different from a like. There's a structure and system that goes into generating leads. What is the objective of the lead generation? So 379, 170 showed up for the program. We only need 100 people for our program. So far we have 56. So what happens? That is one lead generation strategy, while there are other things happening. So when it comes to the profit first methodology, we don't just help you to look at the profit, we help you think through the sales structure so that you can generate cash flow and get into profit. Because before, Mike says that before you get into profit, why are you hiring? All right, so you need to make money to hire people. That's a story for another day. So to reduce non-essential expenses, let me look at my time here, all right? List down all your expenses for the last 12 months, including recurring expenses like rent, internet access, all the things that you pay per month. Have a list of those. Cut all items that are not essential for running your business efficiently or keeping customers happy. You can typically cut 10 to 20% of such expenses overnight. And these are not written in stone because I don't know how you generate income. One thing that business owners really amuse me with is they take everything a consultant says without putting into context what they have. If you have not been generating any money, you cannot take these percentages. That's why I said after doing an audit, we can help you get the right percentages. So deposit all your revenues into the income account on the 10th and on the 25th of each month. Another place where we get guilty is that we don't follow up. We don't have a credit system. We don't even have a cash flow system. You know, when people pay us, where does the money go? How is that money spent? Sometimes it's on our M-Pesa. You go home, people need milk and bread. What do? You quickly send to the kiosk person, tell your child, run and get some milk. So-and-so has come, we need to give them food. But with this system, you'll have owner's pay. So if you need to get to M-Pesa, you get into your personal M-Pesa, not your business M-Pesa, which is something I used to do a lot. All right, so deposit all the accounts, all the revenues in the income account. Ideally, he recommends 10th and 25th because in the US, people are paid twice. And I realized even in Kenya, we can. Actually, you can get paid every week depending on your sales. Do you have something to sell? If you have a sales process that you have something to sell every week, you can have money going into the different accounts every week, and then you can see when is the profit, when is the owner's pay account, good for you to take your salary. Then you start getting into a rhythm of paying yourself once a week, or paying yourself twice a month, or paying yourself monthly. So it's not written in stone that you have to be paid once a month. Even people who don't work, when you have a program, they'll say, I'll pay you at the end of the month. I'm like, where will you get the money from? If you're a business owner, you can pay me next week because there's something you're selling. But that's a story for another day. Distribute the income balance based on the tax, the allocation percentages. Transfer the amounts from the tax and profit accounts into the two non-temptation accounts. I moved that by mistake. Take your allocated bi-weekly salary from the owner's pay account and pay your bills from the OPEX account. So take your allocated bi-weekly salary. So you see, we are assuming that as money is coming in every week, it's going into the income account. And twice a month, you and your accountant, or you yourself, if you're doing this, you make sure that that money is diverted, or rather directed, into the other accounts, okay? So that you can dispatch. So don't be in a habit of paying people anytime you have money. Have a process, have a system. So what if you're in debt? Maybe somebody's asking, but Frida, I'm in debt. How can I start putting money aside and I'm in debt? Of course, you start somewhere. If you're heavily in debt with no cash reserves, you'll intuitively focus on repaying your debt. However, this only addresses the symptoms and not the root cause. The only way to remove debt permanently is to change your financial habits and become truly profitable. It starts with one, generating enough sales to make sure you get into profit. And remember, with the profit first methodology, every sales has a profit, has owner's pay, has taxes, has operational expenses, okay? So you are keeping this money aside, not for a rainy day, for the day you need to get paid, for the day you need to pay KRA. My mentor says, if you save for a rainy day, it will always rain, all right? So profit first methodology teaches you to save for your company, teaches you to save for owner's pay, for operational expenses. The 5 accounts are savings accounts for every check that comes in, because every time a check comes in, you have 10 other things that you have to pay. Before I started the profit first methodology, I used to play with my mentor and used to say that all my money has an address, all right? By the time it comes, I'm just writing check. I have to pay this person, I have to pay this person. And it's like that for a minute until you get out of debt. And when you're in debt, don't get overwhelmed. Don't be afraid that you're at CRB. CRB and those kinds of institutions are created to help us use debt wisely. So if you're at CRB, it's not the end of the world. Speak with the bank that you need to pay, get into this system and start paying off little by little, get into a restructured system, because the big thing, banks don't want to sell your things. Banks want money, and they want money and to make more money. So you can repair your credit. And by repair your credit is sitting down, all the credit, how much do you need? And then every time the money comes, as you're paying owner's pay, if it is your account, if it is your debt, out of owner's pay, start chipping off at that debt. Debt can be overwhelming, but it should not kill you because it will end, all right? I can tell you 100 stories about debt, but not today. Do a debt freeze. Don't take any more new debts while you cut costs and remove your existing debts. Print out all your statements related to debt and expenses. Go through every expense item, past and present, and group them into 3 categories. Category number 1, P, for items that are essential for profitability. Leave these items. Don't touch those. For instance, Zoom is very important for us. I can't cut off Zoom. For instance, Infusionsoft, our mailing list, our email, what do I call it? Our email, the tool we use for sending out our emails. That is very important. Our bulk SMS, those ones we don't touch. And then R for essential items that can be replaced with cheaper ones. We recently used a cheaper newsletter tool. We're looking at a cheaper Zoom, because I love Zoom. Zoom was created for webinars. Zoom will generate leads for you. I love Zoom. I just love Zoom, all right? I'm looking for something else. I like WebEx. I don't like the interface. I just love Zoom, all right? So we have stuck with Zoom. And then U is for unnecessary items. Circle out all the unnecessary recurring items. And as you circle this out, don't feel it's the end of the world. It is good to know where you stand so that you can start the journey of where you want to be. The only permanent thing is change, and where you are today is the lowest you'll ever be if you get the correct literacy and start applying them. So let's carry on here. As I recap, have a mind shift in becoming profitable from your business and start thriving. And how do you do that? Pay attention to the money that you make, all right? The money that you make, pay attention to it. When you make 10,000, where is it going to go? From M-Pesa to where? To your bank account, the income account. And that 10,000 is not all yours. What percentage will go into the profit first? Another one to owner's pay, another one to operational expenses, and then another one to taxes. So you are always saving for the right opportunity to pay yourself, to pay taxes, so you are not caught flat-footed. Create 5 physical bank accounts and label them income. You can label it income or revenue, income, profit, owner's pay, taxes, and operational expenses. Remember, profit and taxes go into an account that you cannot reach easily so that you don't get tempted to touch it. But I'm not kidding you. If you grow that account, if you're patient and grow those accounts will start acting as collateral for you. Figure out the allocation percentages, compare your current allocation, and align it gradually to the allocation percentages that are recommended by Profit First. If in debt, remember to freeze your debt. Review your expenses using the PRU system. And remember, U is for the things that are unnecessary. P is for the, how can it jump out of my head? P is for the things that are profitable. R is for the things that need to be replaced. And then U for the things that are unnecessary that need to be cut out. Deal with each expense categorically. You see how the accountants come and give us accounting categories? You can create your own. It is your business. You know what the needs are for you. Stick to the plan expeditiously. That is the problem. We normally don't stick to the plan. When you leave your house going to Mombasa, stay on the road to Mombasa Road. If you get stuck, stop, fix the car, keep moving till you get to Mombasa. Profit First gives you an opportunity to have a plan of how much you'd like to earn. And how much you'd like to earn, we show you that in the sales category of how to generate leads so that you can have consistent sales. And when we work with you on generating a lead is not a like. I often make fun and say a lead is like a girl you want to tune, all right? I was making fun on the Founders Conversation this morning. Every Thursday we have Founders Conversation, and this month we're talking about sensing and shaping the new normal. And in sensing the shaping the new normal, today we're talking about get online or go obsolete. And our IT director was sharing, and I caught him off-footed, and because people were saying, I've been online, I have likes, the likes are not converting. Likes will not convert. Leads will convert. Why? Because a lead is somebody you have their number and their email. You can call them. So I was asking our IT director, how did you meet your girlfriend? Were you just winking at her? One time you asked her for her number, isn't it? So also our digital marketing strategy. We need to get people's numbers and people's emails. And people are weary of giving us that. So you must have a proper strategy to get that so that you can call, you can email. I just told you we generated 379 leads for our intake for June. And now we are working, we have 56 people. Our goal is to get 100. So I'm on everybody's neck to keep calling, to keep emailing. So there's a process I call it, there's a process to the profit, all right? So deal with expense categorically. No, I was on number 7. If you need help, call us on that number and let us help you overcome financial difficulty. So this morning, I've been sharing with you the Profit First methodology. And the Profit First methodology is not done in a vacuum. At Passion Profit, we are certified advisors for Fix This Next. In the Fix This Next methodology, we have what we call the business hierarchy of needs. In the business hierarchy of needs, the first three at the bottom of the pyramid, we teach business owners how to get money. Many people want to do CSR and give what they don't have. So when people come to me and tell me the kind of business they want to have, and I say, you have not made any money for yourself, but now you're trying to get me to get to your strategy to give money to the poor. It doesn't work like that, my friends. It is honorable to give money to the poor, but even the Bible says, give what you have, not out of coercion and not out of need. So don't feel altruistic and you are not taking care of yourself. The first person you need to take care of is you, because if you don't have something, you will not have anything. Why does Safaricom have a foundation? Look at the amount of money they make. Am I saying you should wait for that amount of money before you give? No. I'm saying you should have a system to make money and get to the peak of legacy. So number one, you need to have a system to generate sales consistently, and posting things online alone will not do it. You need lead generation strategies. You need to understand your lifestyle congress. How much do you need to make your life, to have the kind of lifestyle that you have? Who are the prospects that you are attracting? Are they just being likes or are they leads? Is your phone ringing? Are you able to call them back? Because you cannot call a like, but you can call a lead. Do you have a system to generate leads, or are you relying on referrals? Referrals are great, but they are unpredictable. When was the last one you got? How many of us have left networking groups because I didn't get a referral there? A networking group is not to give you referrals. A networking group is a system designed for you to cultivate relationships. So if you're in a networking group, you're in Biashara now, you never post anything, you never talk to anyone, people won't know you. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. So being in a networking community, you need to participate, be memorable. I tell people in our groups, we have a structure to get people to cultivate relationships. I tell them, if you're not memorable, nobody will remember you. If you introduce yourself, you just put your logo there. Who wants to buy a logo? All right, so that's a story for another day. So number one, we help you create the cash you need to live the life that you want. And then you get into profit using the profit first methodology, whereby every revenue attracts a profit, owners pay taxes, operational expenses. All right, you have your 5 accounts. And as this is happening, then we get into order. Order is ensuring that you have processes, you have the right product, and you have the right people to ensure that your company is working like clockwork. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure serving you. And I'm going to give it up now to, I was going to say Wangeshi, I'm sorry, to Terry. Terry, are you there? You can go away.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Frida. Thanks a lot for that. And I'm going to invite questions. If you have a question, please write it in the meeting chat box and we are going to highlight it. And as we wait for that, just to mention what are a few things that I was able to get out of this. What I like very much was a sale is not a sale until there's money in the bank. So a handshake is just a promise. I think that was very, it's good to keep reminding ourselves as business people. And of course, Frida, they are challenging a few business beliefs we've always had, like, sales minus expenses is equals your profit. But no, today we hear that it is sales minus my profit is what leaves me with expenses. That is what will let me know what really does the company have to spend. A few other things for us to get here: have a mindset of profitability. For you to start thriving, the mindset has to be right. Stick to the plan faithfully, because we all have wonderful plans, but a crisis comes. It's not just the pandemic, crisis is a part of us every day, especially for entrepreneurs and SMEs. But if we stick to the plan faithfully, of course, we know what's profitable, what to keep, what needs to be replaced, what is unnecessary and needs to go, and we will be able to survive and thrive even beyond this COVID period. But Frida, just to put out to you, yes. I see somebody here had asked, how do you rate a good bank for SMEs? What should we look for? And I'd actually also commented that, Invest in Africa does partner with Equity Bank and Stanbic Bank who are both keen on SME banking needs, so building solutions around that, but they support our access to finance pillar in terms of, we are able to create linkages for SMEs.
I'll be happy to take that. I'm a small business owner, so I'm not selling any bank. This is Invest in Africa, so I can speak freely. The truth about it is the bank starts with you. And it starts with you, number one, what are you looking for? How do you want to grow your money? You need a bank where you can get twin accounts. And a twin account is you have your main account, and then they can give you 5 other accounts without asking you to bring all the horrendous documents, all right? So that's number one. Number two, are you going to look for access to capital soon? If you're going to look for access to capital to do one thing or another, you need to be in a bank that supports small business owners, all right? And how do you know that? Look at the offerings that they have, because many times people say that, they say they have unsecured loan, they have unsecured, unsecured finance. And two banks that I know that have said that and support SMEs are ABSA and SBM Bank. ABSA gives up to 10 million unsecured, SBM Bank 5 million. Now, when you hear that, don't run and think you will just show your registration and you get it. You have to align your ducks, okay? Where have you been banking? Get those statements ready. How has your cash flow been? You have not had a bank account, but you have been having M-Pesa. Be organized. Nobody will give you any money until you can show them how you can grow your money. All right. So these two banks I know are loyal to SMEs, and I like ABSA because it's going into Africa. All right. SBM Bank gave women up to 2 million. I remember when it was still Chase Bank. Today we bank with them. The first thing we on your document. When you need money, it's too late. You are desperate. You're thinking, they're not listening to me. So you need to start early, and you need a business that will let you know at what stage will you need money for what, so that you're not. The bank does not owe you money because you are broke. No, being broke is us. All right, so even COVID hurting us today. If you have the profit first methodology, then you'll have money, like saved in your profit. This is always saying that I'm plowing it back. We need to learn to be true to ourselves. We are not plowing anything back, but let me leave that alone. Maybe you are. But I've worked with business owners for over 10 years, and I've helped business owners look in the mirror and be authentic about their finances. Stop wearing a mask. If you don't have money that is saved for a day to pay tax or to pay yourself, you can get help. There's nothing to be shy about, all right? I went to learn these things. I told you earlier, why profit first? Because I was tired of seeing numbers on an income statement. Every year, I'll be arguing with the accountant. I didn't make this money. He paid iko wapi, So he said, but the money, it shows it was there. Profit first, you see your money real time. So which account? It starts with you. What do you need? Before you put your money there, ask questions. Just like people ask you questions. Who have you helped? Can I talk to them? And then give them your heart, and then have a bank that you're consistent with, where you have your revenue account. Even if you are multi-bank, don't multi-bank everywhere, because when they want to see your last 6 months or your last 12 months, your money is all over the place, it loses trust. So it's not really about the bank, it's about the SME. And that's all I have to say.
I think one of the seminars, actually, one of the webinars we had as part of our series in this SME survival program was getting bank ready, and especially during this period when some of the ideas have come up where Frida said, for example, you can freeze your debt, that kind of scenario. And many of the ideas that Frida is sharing, we were able to share at that time. So by, of course, accessing our toolkit, beshara.now, and you can get in touch through the chat box, and will enable you to register. You will be able to see some of the ideas that were shared at the time. And it's really many of the ideas that Frida is bringing out. You have to get back ready for you to be able to benefit from all these solutions which are available to us as SMEs. Something else that Frida mentioned is, do you know what your business needs right now? What should you do next? And, the strategy and effort in actually converting leads. And we talked about Biashara Network, which is, our private social community. That is a place to begin with peers. Other businesses need your solutions. So by becoming, by sharing your products and what is your plans and your solutions on Biashara Network, then definitely you will start to reach out to a pool of 4,000 SMEs who may need you. And you'll also have peers who can work with you. And somebody else says, I like the mindset shift, the idea of having different accounts. So thank you, Frida. We have really got a lot of insights from you. I'd like to put up your contacts again. Let me put them up. So connect with Frida. I'll also put up the contacts for Invest in Africa. Beyond this webinar, you are supported. You can connect with Frida, who again is an impact coach and the founder of Passion Profit. Her phone number is right there. Her email is frida@passiontoprofit.com. Just CO, not com. I know that's so many errors we make. I did that at the beginning. So it is frida@passiontoprofit.com. CO. You can reach her on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. You can also reach Invest in Africa. And I'll put up our contacts as well. So contact us. We are located at Bushhouse, Cabernet Road. This is off Ngom Road. And we are on social media. All our details are available. So on website, we have www.investinafrica.com. We also have www.biasharanow.com. So on Biashara Now, which is our SME platform, that is where you'll be able to access market linkages through the tender space. You'll be able to access skills, knowledge, toolkits, whatever you need to keep building onto your knowledge and existing tools. You will get it on our Biashara Academy. And finally, the Biashara Network, where we have said you'll be able to generate links. You don't need, as Frida has said, to leave networks anymore because you're not getting referrals. Be there, interact, create your own leads, convert this to sales, and more importantly, every sale today is a gem. When you get a sale, make sure that you can get some profit out of it. So thank you very much. We are very, very delighted that you could join us today. Thank you to Frida once again. Thank you to the Invest in Africa and Passion Profit teams. Have a very pleasant day.